my husband decided to stand on the corner and purchase this florist, which he knew nothing about. I knew nothing about.
Wait, when you said stand on the corner,
so it went up for auction.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. About that time. Turn this thing on out. Now, let me see everybody do this. Let's go!
They wanna know.
welcome to Who's That Girl, the show that celebrates women who are breaking boundaries, redefining success, and turning their dreams into reality. I'm your host, Chanel B, and I'm excited to take you behind the scenes of some truly inspiring journeys. We have had the honor of traveling throughout the DMV, selecting phenomenal women who have been breaking barriers, shattering records, and delivering on their dreams in the way that only women winning can. So get ready to meet the woman behind the wins as we find out who's that girl. This episode was brought to you by GSN Office Furniture, offering high-quality office furniture and creating solutions to enhance your workspace for over 30 years. GSN Office Furniture. Expect the best. Well, hey y'all, we are here at Florist DeVie with Miss Ashley Wiley today, and you're going to hear who's that girl behind the business, the health program, the former nurse. We're going to talk about all of that. And so we're going to get right into this story from Miss Wiley. If you can tell everybody, who are you? Who is Ashley Wiley?
So my name is Ashley Nicole Rock Wiley, and I am a daughter, I'm a wife, I am a stepmother of an amazing 7-year-old who keeps us very busy. I am a business owner. I own 2 businesses, Fleur de Vie, which we're here at, as well as a mental health agency called Above It All. I would say my past life, which isn't that much long ago, I was a nurse. I am still a registered nurse, but my career has taken a big shift away from my career, which was my passion, HIV and healthcare. And so I still get to live it out with working with people here and there. A lot of people come in for funerals, so I feel like I still have times that I can be empathetic. But just completely a total shift in life.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't know who Ashley Wiley is anymore. I'm still trying to figure that out, and hopefully, in the next decade, I might be somebody different.
Right. Well, what I love about you is that you are multi-dimensional. I think a lot of people feel like they have this purpose and they have to stick with one thing. You do multiple things. But if you can tell people, how did you get into all of this? How did you get into entrepreneurship, number one? Because you were passionate about healthcare.
True. So, my parents are both entrepreneurs. My mother's had a nonprofit for over 20 years. My father, when I was young, he wore a suit and tie, but at some point he gave that up. So I think it's by nature, nurture, and then I married an entrepreneur. So prior to marrying my husband, I started a business to help people start nonprofits. Again, still wanting to be in that space of helping people, but not do everything myself. And then while I was at University of Maryland, Brandon, my husband, and a couple of friends, we started the mental health agency together. And so I actually got laid off from Care First in 2019. And so when I got laid off, I was like, all right, full time into Above It All. And then my husband decided to stand on the corner and purchase this florist, which he knew nothing about, I knew nothing about.
Wait, when you said stand on the corner.
So it went up for auction. So this space that we are in was a florist for decades in the community. And because he's in funeral service, the florist came hand in hand. It was Black owned, very well loved in the community, and the building and the business went up for auction. So he didn't want to see it become a liquor store or a chicken shop or whatever it could have become. He wanted to keep this long-standing Black business in the community. But he nor his dad had any clue as to what was to come with Fleurs de Vie. Neither did I. So naturally, while we were renovating, Fleurs was in the same place as Above It All, and somehow it became my project. And so here we are. So a lot of my life, whether it was in healthcare before or where I am now, I just feel like I just follow where God takes me. Sometimes I struggle, like, why am I here? But for the most part, I just trust God and just try to be grateful for all things that are given to me.
I'm glad you talked about how you got laid off, but you looked at the positive of that for you to go all in with what you really wanted to do. Because I think a lot of people experienced that with the pandemic, right? A lot of people during the pandemic, they were wondering what was next, but some people really looked at that as an opportunity, and they went full steam ahead and as far as what they really wanted to do. And so here you are, you were passionate about one thing, but you did a big pivot.
Extremely.
Big pivot. But you know, a lot of people are they struggle with that because they feel like, well, I have this passion, this is what God told me to do. And when you start to think about doing something different, you're questioning, is that him talking to you? Is it you just wanting to do something different? But for you really took ownership of this pivot, and here you are. You're still in two different separate entities. You have this health program, and then you have Fleurs. So it's completely different. Let's talk about the health program, because a lot of people are into mental health.
Absolutely.
So what does your program provide?
Sure. So we provide mental health therapy, substance use disorder treatment, as well as what we call therapeutic mentoring for children and adults who need help with learning their life skills, how to manage their symptoms from their mental health disorder, just learning about their diagnosis in more of a non-clinical way. So all things mental health, we can help.
Oh, good. Because I think there's some people that want to actually do that. So you said it was you and a couple of friends got together. So
again, this wasn't supposed to be my business. Above It All was really designed for some of my other current partners, and I thought I was just going to write the plan and the application, and then I was going to ease my way out. But it just still was room and space for me. Some of my talents and gifts, you know, we are a multifaceted team. I couldn't do anything alone. And so my gifts are paperwork and business administration and oversight. And so that's kind of the role I still play, where as everybody else is doing all of the day-to-day. They've expanded programs I didn't mention. So we have a lot of parenting workshops in schools, where we actually even get paid. Before it was volunteer. Hey, we're going to come talk to your students and staff. And now those are paid services. So my team has really gone out and just made a way in the community for the business and for themselves.
Okay, so you were kind of thrown in, as we say, like voluntold to do stuff for the program, and then you were kind of thrown in here, thrown in here. But you are doing it all, like we say, doing all the things.
Yes.
Now you are a wife, which I call wife mompreneur.
Yes.
Okay. How are you managing it all? Now let's talk about the team aspect, because you're not doing everything by yourself.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people probably need to know that, because they're trying to figure out how to do everything. I know for me, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a travel baseball mom, I'm a business owner, I have a show, I do so many things, but I cannot do it alone.
Yeah.
So if you can touch on the importance of having a team and focusing on the strengths of everyone on the team to make it all happen.
I think team, but starting with family, again, I mentioned my parents. They are amazing. So extremely supportive. My mother volunteers. We tell her, she tells us in the Flores. So we couldn't do it without her. My dad, same thing. Whatever we need, he's here. My husband's parents, they are super supportive as well, especially with our son. And then we have a great relationship with our son's mother. So we just really operate as a family team on that aspect. And then again, at Above It All, I have some of my day one staff. All of my day one staff are still there. So
That's
since
awesome.
2016, everybody that was there in the trenches is still there in the trenches. So and we've grown. We have a huge team now, but everybody's still there. And then here too, my day one florist. He's still here. Day one Darian, everybody knows Darian if you follow florists. Still here. So just everybody growing alongside of us, myself and my husband, and anything that we do. Just a lot of support.
Okay. So Who's That Girl is really about you. I know we're talking about a lot that you do, but tell us about some of your personal experiences growing up, your journey that led you into healthcare.
Yeah, everything always keeps coming back to my parents. So really quick, my mother was a disco singer. So when the HIV/AIDS epidemic hit, she was performing mainly in gay clubs, and so then she was aware firsthand of everything that the AIDS virus epidemic was doing to the community. And she came back to Baltimore, started volunteering at University of Maryland Pediatric Clinic, and she never stopped. So she still works in that arena. And then of course I was voluntold again that I was going to come to her business, and I was going to start a teenage group, a group for teenagers with HIV. And that's where my passion really started. And so I would help them when they went to the doctors to understand what they were supposed to be doing. We would have support groups. We would go out and do HIV education. And so that's how my passion started. And again, I'm watching my mother building this nonprofit from nothing to, something again that's been there for 26 years. I might be wrong, it might be more. So I've always just seen, how you can take nothing and make it blossom into something, and just never to give up. And then one of the things that Jamal Bryant used to preach, if God gives you vision, he'll give you provision. And I still hear that over and over again. So I just know that it's a purpose, even if it wasn't what I thought my purpose was. I was trained for it. So I did go back and get an MBA. I didn't really know what I was getting that for. So alongside my master's in health, I got the MBA, and I'm able to apply that. I feel like as a nurse, you're taught to multitask very well and to work independently. So I don't need a lot of people telling me what to do. Figure it out. So when you're on the floor, you think you have doctors to go to, you do, but you don't. Like you really have to figure that out on your own, and honestly tell the doctors what to do often. So even though I'm living it out in a different way, I still feel like I was trained appropriately for where I am today. Yeah,
and you just touched on how you're really leveraging your nursing experience in entrepreneurship, because that figuring everything out, especially when you're on your own, that's a big deal in entrepreneurship, because a lot of times you feel like you are alone, even though you might have a team. It's yours. Everybody doesn't feel the same way about your business.
The pressure isn't there. The late nights aren't there. I do have a good team. They're going to rock with me throughout the day. But most of them, when they go home, but not for me. It's like ongoing.
So the nonprofit space, there are a lot of people out here that want to do a nonprofit. And one of the goals of this particular show is to help women get into spaces and not having to figure out everything on their own. Can you kind of talk about what's the first steps for doing something like that? Because I know you have a passion, right? Somebody has a passion. They're like, I want to help people. This needs to be a nonprofit. But what are really the first steps in starting that?
Yeah, so legal-wise, your first steps are to find a board. And usually your first board are going to be your friends and your family, people that are going to support you through. But I don't know if people ever really always think every step through. Like, what am I doing? Yes, I love animals, but what does that look like? How am I going to do this every day? Why would somebody give me money to do this? And just making sure that you have all your checks and balances in place, so that when it comes time to ask people for money, they trust you, and they see the fruit of your labor and what you're going to do. So I just say have all your things in place and really understand what you're doing and be able to communicate that.
Right. Yeah. As you speak on that, let's talk about some of the challenges, because working hard, there's so many highlight reels that we see on social platforms, especially when people feel like every business is just so simple, so easy. Like nobody really sees the behind the scenes and the challenges that you go through as a business owner. So can you kind of speak on that?
I think the never-ending stress for me is payroll and just making sure that the people that you've promised that you would make sure they have the food on their table, that their pay is there. So whether you have to get a loan, whether you got to transfer some money, whether you got to do some strange things for some change, every 2 weeks that payroll comes and people are expecting to get paid. So that is probably my number one worry. I don't know if it's a challenge it's not a challenge every payroll, but it's definitely my number one concern as a business owner, is being able to make sure we make our payroll for our team. On top of, like we talked about, benefits, making sure that people feel like you can sacrifice whatever to make sure they have the things that they need in addition to their pay. So just figuring that out. Benefits is a whole nother world.
Yeah.
To just kind of even figure out. So the sleepless nights, obviously, the calls, the people that want to just talk to you after you have a team now. Like, we made a video, it was funny, it said, don't call Ashley, but really, like, please stop calling me. No, I love you and I want to help you, but it's just not possible. Like, you're calling me, like, if I wanted to come here today, I had to go get makeup done. I'm not taking your flower order while I'm getting my makeup done. But you don't see that part. You feel like I'm always at work, sitting in front of the computer ready to take a flower order. Other challenges are just the physical, on the body, especially in the floors. Like, I would have probably never signed up for this events, and the amount of physical toll that this flower shop takes on my body, I would have never expected that at all.
So as you talk about these specific challenges, you have a mental health program, right? So let's talk about, what do you do to take care? Because I met someone not too long ago, and she talked about the difference between mental health. She was talking about self-care versus self-soothing. Okay? Because self-soothing, we do the things to make us feel good, but she said self-care is what you do in between doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
But as we talk about the mental toll that it takes on you, when you just talked about these challenges and your worry sometimes about the payroll thing, especially starting out, right? Especially starting out, the physical toll on your, what does Ashley Wiley do to take care of herself?
I take a nap. I probably get a E for mental health care. If I can just find time to go to sleep, I usually do feel better. Sometimes you just need to cry. So sometimes a good cry, and my husband probably, he does so well, because I'll just like have these breakdowns and he's just like, are you crying? And I'll be like, yes, and then he'll like check in. So just having somebody that you can cry to. I have amazing friends. I mean, I just have such a good support system. And so I probably could use a therapist. I probably could use a monthly massage scheduled, or certain things. I have not graduated to that level yet, but I do feel like my mental health in general is good. I do feel like I have people to talk to, cry to. Yeah, I do. So
as you do your nonprofit, your business, let's touch on the community aspect that you are a part of, right? Like, you have a strong support system, amazing girlfriends. I think that is very important for women in business, women in any high-level career role. I think it's very important. But if you can touch on that, because I know you are part or founding member of The Well, and I love that organization. But if you can talk about the importance of having that sisterhood community as you're out here doing all the things like you're doing, that would be great. Yes, so The Well is amazing. It's a safe space. So at The Well, you are meeting with other women entrepreneurs, and you're talking about your challenges without judgment. So you feel like everybody there has a challenge. We call it a problem of practice. You're practicing on how you pitch your business. You're practicing on ideas. You're collaborating. Sometimes you have a problem and somebody in the room has a solution. So it's just, again, a really safe space that provides tons of resources, because we all know we don't know everything, and we're all in different spaces. So whether you're learning about benefits, whether you're learning about investments, marketing, social media, it's a lot of resources being brought to help you. So why was that important for you to be a part of something like that?
Because even though I have great friends, they're not all business owners. And so, and again, I have my mother and I have my husband, but it's different. So I felt like it was, again, a safe space for me to launch ideas, to talk, and then also to help other people. And I'm not the most people person, or sometimes I struggle with networking. So places like that help me.
Yeah. You know, Ashley says she's an introvert, but I don't think anybody would be able to tell that today. You are giving so much value in this conversation. But let's talk about managing your personal relationship, your marriage as an entrepreneur, being a mother as an entrepreneur, and running this nonprofit. Because one of the pain points that I see wife mompreneurs having is really keeping their spouse a priority. I see a lot of bosses out here today, and they're struggling with that, not balance, but making it all work. How do you make it all work?
Yeah, because even though my husband is an entrepreneur, I think sometimes he still gets frustrated with me. So we have a dedicated date night that we try to keep. I do the best I can. I probably get an E in this area too. I do the best I can with attending my son's football games because he's there every week. So I don't make it to all those things, but I just do the best I can to show up and be present as often as I can.
Yeah. Myself and my husband, we build a business together, but separately. And there are definitely times when I recognize when I'm chasing my goals and, you know, the milestones I want to achieve, when I got to reel it back in and I'm like, okay, he needs you to be just his wife today. My kids want me to cook. I don't want to do it. But sometimes they just.
I don't do.
There's.
It's just something. So if I set the expectation that you don't expect me to cook,
right. And that's what I found in entrepreneurship, that what I've been doing for the last several years, make money to pay people to do the things you don't want to do. Because I'm all about having more quality time with my family. All right, so we talked about some challenges. What are some of the rewards of entrepreneurship though? Because I know there are some people today saying, if I could just leave my job, but you have to work hard either way, right? But what are some of the rewards you think that you have from entrepreneurship?
So for me, this is an easy question. I am most proud when I can hire people that really need a job. So one of my father's friends, he came home from being incarcerated for 20 years, and we were able to give him a job. And then to see, I think it's been 10 years later, he came from the flower shop and now he's in the funeral home, and to see his growth, those are the things that make me the most proud. We have high school students from this area, from West Baltimore, that some have just walked to the door and said, can I have a job? And it's tough to work with our youth today, in a sense, because the training, they're just different. Long story short, they're just different. But to be able to see after a month or two here how they've grown, and when they walk in, they speak. And so I like to make sure we are making payroll. I like to hear my employees say, well, when I was at that other floor, I didn't get benefits. So for me, that is like the most satisfying thing. But of course, you know, flexibility, freedom to an extent, right? So we talk about trying to go to the hairdresser and somebody's still calling your phone. But to be able to say, I don't feel like it today, and really just maybe don't have to go. And you don't have to explain it to anybody why you're not going, except for sometimes my husband. He's more of the, why are you in the bed today? Like, give me a break. But other than that, and just seeing something grow from nothing to something, like this place when we got it was a dump. And just to see, and it took a long time. It took almost 2 years to renovate. But just to really see, even at the mental health business, the table expand from 2 employees to 3 to 20. You know, that is where I get my satisfaction.
So what advice could you give people today as far as just trusting the process?
Definitely trust the process and just never give up. Check in. I think it's important to have mentors. I think it's important to seek advice. I think it's important to let your team know you're a small business and this is my vision, because they don't always understand. And it may not feel like if you were working at a big company, they work alongside you, so they need to understand what you're going through and what it takes, and hopefully they're on board. But I think when you communicate, it's just all about communication, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for the team. I think having a spiritual base is important. Again, and then having the support system where you can just be yourself and not worry about what people are thinking about you.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what, as far as an executive mindset, right? The executive decisions that you have to make every single day when building a business, like, what does that mean for you?
What do I have to get done? Like, what is the priority? What needs to be done today? What needs to be done next month? Like, I'm all about the end result. Who is it for? And again, making sure it's not just there, making sure the flowers look amazing. You shouldn't get flowers from Fleurs and they look like you went anywhere else. Or making sure you're getting top-notch mental health services. So just about making sure we deliver with as much perfection as possible.
So we're here at Fleurs. Is it just flowers that people can get from here, or do you guys do anything else?
We provide flowers for all occasions. So whether it's weddings, funerals, everyday decor, or celebrations, birthdays, congratulations. Along with our flowers, you can buy some alcoholic beverages. We sell champagne and tequila right now. We also have Flower Power Happy Hour. So right now, about once a month, we get together and do a flower making. You haven't come yet.
I haven't.
Yeah, we do a flower making happy hour. It's not just a little class. People really have a good time. So we typically have DJ Kibi. We've had a few other DJs. DJ Shade's been really awesome. We have open bar. We provide food. And this is at our second location at the Lexington Market. And you can find tickets for that on Eventbrite going through our Instagram page.
So as we really kind of wrap up the conversation, what is it that you want people to know about Ashley before we wrap up today?
I think that I want people to know, even though I say I'm an introvert, I really am what you see is what you get, right? So if I'm doing something, it's genuine. If I'm doing something, if you ask me for anything for the community or whatever, I really mean it. Like, I really wish I could probably do more, give more. I'm a giver. Like, I just don't feel like I'm blessed for myself. I feel like I'm blessed to be a giver. And I think God will just keep on blessing so that I can keep on being a blessing.
Well, I think everybody can feel your heart today. We can sense why you went into healthcare. My mom just went through breast cancer. And every week when I was at her treatment, I would say, man, if I had the time, I would go back to school and be in healthcare, because you could really get the feel of the care and compassion and the comfort from these nurses. And I was so impressed and wanted to do that for people, right? And you can feel that from you. So I can't imagine like how your nonprofit is. Like, I can't imagine the people that you get to help with that, or the people that come through this door and how they feel you. Because as a business owner that can show empathy for people, that is something that a lot of even leaders don't know how to do. But you can feel that.
I'm glad.
Yes, you can definitely feel that. So one of the things that we always ask all of our guests, that I'm going to ask you today, in this very moment, what is winning for you?
What is winning to me? Again, it sounds crazy, but being able to make payroll, but winning is having a successful business that, again, can not just be a benefit financially to me, but so that my team can grow financially, can grow in their dreams, whether it's for them to start their own business. I just want to be a blessing to them. And again, whatever we can do for the community. Like, I really hate to say no. And sometimes it's not there, but if I can give, that's what winning is to me. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about other people.
Yeah, well, I think we can all feel that it's like when we hear your life is not your own, you exemplify that. Like, you show that you are here for a purpose, multiple things. You are a multi-dimensional woman. And I just love that. I love you being an example for so many of us to show once again that we can do all things. I've been saying a lot lately, I'm just standing on Philippians 4:13. And that's what you are showing to people today. So this is Ashley Wiley on Who's That Girl? And
Thank
we
you.
got to see and hear the woman behind it all. And so if you can tell people how to follow you, where to find you, how they can get information about Above It All, how they can get information about Fleurs, share everything.
Sure. So Fleurs is on social media. It's FLEURSDAVE. It's like Fleurs Dave, like the man's name, on IG and Facebook. Above It All is Above It All _ Maryland. We have websites for both. You can stop by 1200 West North Avenue, or Above It All is at 638 North Gilmore Street. We're both businesses in the heart of West Baltimore. My personal page is A Rockstar, 2 R's at the end, and that's it.
Well, we are so thankful for your time today. This is an amazing, amazing conversation, and I just love you. I love you, just everything about you, and just your heart for the community, your heart to help people in general, and it shows in everything that you are doing. So this is Ashley Wiley for Who's That Girl, and we are just so thankful for you today. So
Thank you.
All
Thanks for
right.
having me.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us. All right.